living room. For that, I shall not fail you. But please, stick to things that grow in a garden, not a gift shop. Jack returned home, half relieved and half mortified. I'm a failure, Jeanne. I fed a critic home decor. Look on the bright side, Jack, Chrissy chirped. The kitchen has never smelled better. And the duck, it really did have a lot of sentiment. Chapter 25, The Fitness Fiasco. 1977 was the year that Santa Monica went fitness mad. A new gym, Body by Beach, had opened its doors, and suddenly the neighborhood was a sea of leg warmers, headbands, and people drinking things that looked like liquid grass. Stanley Roper, feeling the effects of a sedentary lifestyle and Helen's constant remarks about his waistline of the Warriors, decided he needed to prove his vigor. I'm joining the gym, Helen, Stanley announced, wearing a pair of shorts that were alarmingly short even for the 70s. I'm going to get ripped, like that boy upstairs, only with more experience. Stanley, the only thing you'll rip is those shorts, Helen sighed. Upstairs, Jack was also under pressure. He had caught the eye of a girl named Tiffany, a fitness instructor who believed that sweat is the tears of laziness. To impress her, Jack had claimed to be a champion marathon runner and a regular at Body by Beach. Oh, really? Tiffany had said, then you won't mind joining me for my mega circuit tomorrow at 6 o'clock a.m. Jack, who considered walking to the fridge a workout, was trapped. The next morning, the gym was a theater of the absurd. Stanley Roper was there, struggling with a 10-pound dumbbell while trying to look like a Greek god. Jack was there, looking like a man facing a firing squad, dressed in a tracksuit he'd borrowed from Larry that said coach on the back. All right, Jack, Tiffany beamed. First up, the trampoline squats. Jack attempted a squat, but the trampoline had more bounce than his pride. He launched into the air, did an unintentional somersault, and landed directly on top of Stanley Roper, who was currently attempting a leg press. Tripper, get off me, Stanley yelled, pinned under Jack and the exercise machine. I'm doing an aerodynamic assist, Mr. Roper, Jack stammered. The chaos intensified when Helen Roper walked in to find her husband buried under a pile of polyester and gym equipment. Stanley, are you trying to lift Jack Tripper? I told you to start small. Tiffany looked at Jack, then at the tangled mess on the floor. Champion marathon runner, you can't even stand on a stationary floor. The workout ended with Jack being banned from the trampoline and Stanley deciding that fitness is a fad while retreating to the Regal Beagle for a medicinal beer. Later that evening, as the roommates sat in the living room, Jack was covered in ice packs. Well, Jeanne said, handing him a glass of juice. At least you tried to be healthy. Healthy? Jack groaned. I feel like I've been through a car wash without the car. From now on, the only circuit I'm doing is from the couch to the kitchen. And the secret to a great body, Chrissy asked. Avoid short shorts and Tiffany, Jack muttered. Especially Tiffany. Chapter 26. The Charity Date Scandal. The Regal Beagle was hosting its annual Santa Monica Hearts charity auction. The concept was simple. Local bachelors were auctioned off for a dinner date, with all proceeds going to the Save the Sea Lions Fund. Larry Dallas, of course, was the self-appointed auctioneer. Step right up, ladies. We've got the cream of the crop, the finest polyester in California. Jack had been talked into participating by Jeanne, who was on the charity board. It's for the sea lions, Jack. And besides, it'll be fun. Fun. I'm being sold like a side of beef. Jeanne, what if nobody bids? What if I'm discounted? The auction was a disaster from the start. Larry, in his infinite wisdom, had decided to use a numbering system that was completely nonsensical. He had also been sampling the Beagle's charity punch, which was mostly rum. Number 42. Larry bellowed. Our very own culinary wizard, Jack Tripper. He's handsome. He's handy. He's mostly harmless. A bidding war broke out. To Jack's shock, the price was skyrocketing. $50. 75. 100. Who is bidding that much for me? Jack whispered to Jeanne. Through the dim light of the Beagle, he saw a woman in a large hat and sunglasses, frantically waving her paddle. Could it be Tiffany? Or perhaps that girl from the library? Sold for $150 to the lady in the hat. Larry shouted. When the hat came off, Jack's heart stopped. It wasn't a secret admirer. It was Helen Roper, Mrs. Roper. Jack gasped as she approached the stage. Well, Stanley was being so stingy with the grocery money, I figured I'd spend it on something that actually talks back to me. Helen grinned. The problem was, the auction rules stated the date had to happen immediately. Jack found himself at a candlelit table in the Beagle's VIP corner with his landlady, while Stanley watched from the bar, fuming into his beer. So, Jack, Helen said, tucking into a shrimp cocktail, tell me all about your refined tastes. I've always wanted to know the details. Jack spent the next 2 hours in a state of high alert panic. Every word he said was a potential lease breaker. He tried to keep the conversation on neutral topics, like weather and wallpaper, but Helen was determined to have a night on the town. The situation reached its peak when Stanley Roper stormed over. That's it. Tripper, you're using my rent money to feed my wife shrimp. The date is over. Get home. Now, Stanley, Helen said calmly, it's for the sea lions. Don't you want to save the sea lions? I want to save my dignity. Stanley barked. The evening ended with Jack fleeing the Beagle, chased by a jealous landlord, while Helen laughed and ordered another round of drinks on Stanley's tab. As Jack collapsed into a beanbag chair upstairs, he looked at Jeanne and Chrissy. Next year, Jack panted, remind me, I'm not a sea lion. I'm not a bachelor. I'm a do not disturb sign. But Jack, Chrissy said, holding a newspaper. Look, you're on the front page of the community section